It's such a privilege to have Mr. Amitabh Kant with us today at the GAPIO Leadership Mantra session. Thank you so much, Amitabh ji. Everyone knows you for the amazing work you've done over the years. You're so well recognized, so respected as a civil servant, 1980 IAS batch from Kerala. And everyone became aware of the beauty of Kerala when you launched that amazing campaign, God's Own Country. And everyone got a sense of pride with the Incredible India campaign. And GAPIO has members in 57 countries. And it just gave everyone goosebumps when we saw that campaign. And of course, as a public policy change agent, you've driven so many initiatives as CEO of Niti Aayog and Secretary DIPP. And just to name a few, Make in India, Startup India, the Aspirational Districts program, which really has been recognized globally. And you've been a key mover in the launch of the Lifestyle for Environment movement, life conceptualized by the Prime Minister, that really puts the onus on every individual and how our behavior can actually change climate. You've authored 3 books, and there have been numerous awards that have come your way: Personality of the Year, Administrator of the Year, and of course, it's this current role as G2 Sherpa that is so exciting, where you're really bringing together more than 200 meetings and bringing everyone from across the globe to India. Thank you so much for joining us. Amitabh ji, I wanted to ask you, what is your perspective on leadership? What are your personal leadership mantras?
So thank you, Anupam, for those kind words. I greatly appreciate this. So my belief in leadership is that a leader is one who's willing to swim against the current. And that means that you should not be an agent of status quo, you should be an agent of change. And this would mean that the leader must be willing to think big, think large, think ahead of everyone else. That's what great leadership is about. And he should be willing to bring in radical changes. And this would mean that he should have the ambition, he should have the ability to take his team along, convince each one of them, and build a team which is going to make all the changes for the betterment of either the organization that he's working for or the society that he's working for. And this is, to my mind, the most important attribute of a good leader. Firstly, big thinking. Secondly, willing to make change. Thirdly, ability to take the team along and convince them that this is good for the entire organization or the country.
Thank you so much for that. And, in the medical community, quite often when, we talk to young doctors and, they want to take a different path, and sometimes they're met with a lot of opposition. And you address that if you really want to become a leader and you really want to make a difference, you're going to have to swim against the tide. So you're going to have to try new things. So sometimes, new technology comes in, and there are a lot of people who say, no, this technology is not going to work. I mean, look at it now. Who does open surgery for gallbladder? Everybody has laparoscopic surgery, and robotic surgery is really going to be the way forward. So it's about really being brave enough and challenge status quo and have the strength to take on the challenges that will come your way. Now, over the years, and you've been a leader for more than 4 decades, have your mantras changed? When you first started off, in a district in Kerala to now, over the years, do you believe it kind of changes, or the certain fundamentals don't change at all?
No, wherever I've gone, I've tried to do innovative things. I mean, whether it was the first posting that I did, I introduced a lot of changes in that district in terms of removing encroachments, in terms of greening that area, creating a breathing lung in the heart of the city. And all this was very difficult. These are not easy changes, removing about 500 encroachments. But all that I could do because I could carry the citizens with me, and they supported me. The citizens of Calicut and Kerala supported me throughout while I did this. And I broadened about 24 roads. People used to say that if Vasco da Gama is to come back, he will find Calicut exactly as he had left it till I took over as collector. And I broadened 24 roads, and that enabled smooth flow of traffic. But the people supported me all through. And it's important to take your clientele with you. And in my case, the clientele was the citizens of Calicut, which is very important. So firstly, that, and secondly, a lot of innovative things in terms of cultural festivals, in terms of greening the city, in terms of cleaning the beach area, in terms of creating a new library for the people, in terms of a range of activities which benefited the citizens and involved their participation in a very big way. That, to my mind, is really the key. Later, I worked with the fisheries, the fishermen, and my job was to improve the lives of traditional fishermen. I brought in new crafts, new nets, new fiberglass crafts, new outboard motors, and that was the first time outboard motors were used for 2 fishing crafts. And the fishermen were able to go much further into the sea. But it radically changed the life. And then opening their bank accounts was a nightmare. They were prone to drinking. So I had to open bank accounts. It used to take a long time there. Now we were able to do a lot of extension mass communication work with them. So wherever I've gone, or whether it was launching Kerala as a tourism destination, nobody had heard of Kerala at that point of time. We brought in new products, backwaters, Ayurveda, houseboats, the traditional Kerala cuisine, the Kerala art forms. All these were new products. We created a new destination out of Kerala, totally. Nobody had heard of it. Everybody used to go to Kashmir or go to Rajasthan. But we were able to radically transform Kerala. And they used to say that it will never succeed because the industry had not succeeded. We demonstrated that entrepreneurship was alive and kicking in Kerala, and it delivered in the tourism sector. But we went back to the roots of Kerala. We did everything which was inherently different from the Western way of life. We did not open nightclubs. We did not open casinos, but we went back to the roots, the traditional Kerala architecture, the traditional Kerala cuisine, the traditional Kerala, architecture. All that we revived. And that's how Kerala differentiated itself from the rest of the world.
It's very interesting what you say. And you're talking about your experience when you just started your career. So quite often in medicine, because it takes a long time to mature, because our training itself is 10 to 14 years. People feel, yeah, I'll do this in their 40s. But, when you were a collector, you were in your 20s. So clearly all that change started. So which means that, even if you're in training, you can think differently and start looking at doing things differently. You don't have to wait till age 40. And that's a very, very important message that you've given. Now, I've had the good fortune of knowing you from the time that you were JS in tourism, and I've seen ITDC, and then the Delhi Mumbai industrial corridor, and there've been lots and lots of these very important assignments that you've had. So what personally did you find most challenging? Out of all these assignments over the last 4 decades.
No, so every job that I've done has been challenging. Whether it was making policy level changes on ease of doing business, or foreign direct investment, or patent as Secretary Department of Industrial Policy, or whether it was ushering in electric mobility, driving aspirational district program, or pushing the production-linked incentive in Niti Aayog, or every single job that I've done has been challenging, and every single job I've thought afresh. So my basic view is that everyone should have a diary in which he should note down what he's done for the day and think of 5 new things that he'll do the next day. So if you try 5 things, at least 1 or 2 of them will succeed. But important thing is not that you're doing, but you're thinking that you want to do new things and innovative things, and which will succeed. You have to think through. That's important. Think through imaginatively on and what it will take to execute and deliver that. That's important.
So 5, most people say, okay, think of 1 thing. So you said 5 because not all 5 are going to work. So at least if you have a broad bouquet, some of these will work.
So why I said 5 is because some of them you'll realize have challenges, you'll drop them. You'll probably pick up 2 or 3 and then drive them. But every day, at least do the process of thinking. Then you'll realize that you want to do something different. And that is the key.
So Amitabh ji, over the years, you would have had situations where there would be a disagreement with colleagues, with superiors, and, being a public servant, with elected representatives, sometimes with citizen groups, other ministries. What are the tips for handling disagreement?
See, no job is easy. Every job is tough. No job, if you think that there'll be no difference of opinion, you're sadly mistaken. Then you have a poor idea if you think that any change that you bring in has to have resistance. It has to have a difference of perception. And your job is to be able to lucidly, clearly explain that why this is a must and why this will bring benefit to both the citizens and the community. And that is how I've always worked on. I've believed in taking people along, but it's important that you are able to logically, systematically, coherently convince everyone that this is the right approach. If you are convinced, you'll be able to convince others. If still some people disagree, then get the majority along with you and move forward.
Right. Amitabh ji, many very challenging assignments you've handled. Now, G20 is particularly exciting in terms of the quantum and the scale. It's global. It's about showcasing India. It's organizing more than 200 meetings. And of course, I guess you have to attend all of them, if not for all 3 days, but at least partly. So one of the questions that comes up is there are only 24 hours in a day. And with the kind of workload and the pressure, how do you handle? What is your mantra for time management and handling pressure?
No, I believe in delegation and decentralization. You should never end up doing everything yourself. Many people believe in micromanagement. I don't. I trust others. Have the best team possible. Pick up the best people around you. Delegate, decentralize, work on outcomes. Give them responsibility, work on outcomes. If you start doing everything yourself, you can never succeed. So I have believed always in keeping control, but by working on outcomes and decentralizing and delegating in a big way, which is very, very critical in large organizations.
And I know you don't get any time to relax these days, and I know you love golf and you're very interested in art, but anything for doctors, because all of us have crazy schedules from morning till night, patients, research, conferences, so on and so forth, no Saturday, no Sunday. So how does one carve out some time? And I know you've been so busy, so what you might have carved out for yourself would go down very well with the doctors as well.
However busy you are, first of all, take time to do exercise. I spend about an hour every day doing exercise. However busy you are, you have to take time out to do physical exercise. Whatever you want to do, running, do that. Want to do walking, do that. Want to do weights, do that. But it's important to keep physically fit. Everything revolves around your health. If you're not physically fit, you can't do anything. So that's the crux. Health and physical fitness is a must. Second thing is, have a lot of extracurricular interests. If you do not have interest in art, if you do not have interest in music, if you do not read, if you do not write, then you're a hell of a boring person. I mean, you're not fit to live. So it's very important that however busy you are, these are critical things. And everyone who has excelled in life has extracurriculars, interests, has sports interests. You're not a top-class human being if you think you're going to work 24 hours on your job. You'll never be a success story if you do not have other interests in life. It can be gardening, it can be golf, it can be cricket, whatever. But you have to have one interest in one sport and one interest in one extracurricular. And of course, keep yourself fit and healthy. That's the crux.
It's been an absolutely fascinating conversation with you. Thank you so much, Amitabh ji, for making time for us.
Thank you. My pleasure. Thanks. My pleasure.